this session, we will talk about CDS dual write overview. So I know that you have maybe already seen a session this morning about that, but yeah, a deep dive session. But I think it's great to have two perspectives behind this great feature. And I will show you also a quick demonstration on Power Apps because yeah, the CDS dual write, it's technical thing. It's about integration of the CDS with finance operation. But of course, at the end, the aim, the goal is really to, like I will show you, to have like a Power Apps portal, to have a public or private, portal based on your finance operation data. Because before going to my presentation, I don't know if you have been like me for AX 2012. We had in the past an enterprise portal based on the SharePoint few years ago. And yeah, it was it was a portal that was, I think, the expense management that Microsoft employees do every year was using this kind of thing in AX 2012 with Enterprise Portal. So yeah, some people use the Enterprise Portal in AX 2012, but with finance operation, we didn't have now this Enterprise Portal. So yeah, I said, oh yeah, but the CDS dual write can really help us to really integrate and create a portal, a web portal. Like every feature of the Power Platform, you will see it's really to create very quickly a portal without to be a real great famous developer. So yeah, it's really helpful for that. So just again, little explanation of myself. So of course, as I said, you can take your phone and scan the QR code, and of course add me on social networks. I will be really happy to help you if you have also if you have some question at the end tomorrow, 2 weeks after the event. Of course you can contact me. You can also, as I said, going to my blog, because this presentation, this session, you have also all information on my blog. So especially for the configuration, because for this session, I will not spend 1 hour to explain how to configure because I think it's a little boring. It's not very, very famous. So for the configuration of the CDS dual write, go to my blog. I do, I hope, a good documentation, a good step-by-step process. So you can go directly to my website, and on my side, I configure it, the CDS dual write in 1 morning. So it's not very fast, but it's not really complicated. And hopefully with my article, you will spend not so many times to configure the CDS dual write. Okay, so let's go directly to why the CDS dual write. Good question. So I think some customer, I don't know how many customer we have in the world that use both finance operation and sales at the moment, but I think with the new ecosystem of business application, now customer can buy only one application, only sales, or only customer service and only finance operation, or both, or every application if they want to have the whole ecosystem. But still, I think it's very important, because now in the ecosystem you can have the CRM, your ERP, your field service, your customer service, every apps of Dynamics 365, and you, of course, on behalf of that, you have the CDS, your own database, and you will see that the Power Platform is really integrated, of course, at first with the CDS. So, and I think I've done in the past an integration between AX 2012 and CRM 2013, I think, yeah. And on-premise both, and it was really challenging because, of course, as you can know, you have a lot, the architecture behind CRM and finance operation doesn't have the same architecture. Some example, of course, it's about the legal entity. You don't have legal entity field in CRM, in standard, in sales. So yeah, you have a lot of different architecture metadata properties, and it was really challenging because you have to handle errors. You know, it's like an integration project. You spent a lot of time to try to integrate two applications. And I've know a customer right now that have choose finance operation in France, but they use Salesforce for the CRM. And believe me, they, they will spend a lot of time to try to integrate bidirectional sync. Every time I change a contact on Salesforce, I want to have the sync in finance operation. And so, yeah, it's really challenging for that. So really, the dual write is really for that, is really to help you to integrate and sync every data entities, even custom data entities, from your finance operation to your CDS, okay? But just before going to some architecture after, you need to have a license if you want to sync your finance operation data, like customers or vendors, to CRM. So if you have a CDS without any license, like field service, sales, customer service, you will not have, you know, the entity on CDS, account, contact, etc. And opportunity, sorry. So if you don't buy the sales license in your CDS, you will not have the opportunity entity. So you can't sync it, of course, in standard. But of course, you can easily create new entity mapping that I will show you. Because I know a customer in Australia that contact me, and they have finance operation. They doesn't have any license of CRM. They just have a CDS, and they wanted already to sync some particular data entities from finance operation to a CDS, and after doing some, you know, Power Apps, etc. So you can, of course, but yeah, be careful about the license stuff for the CDS. So again, why CDS dual write? So of course, the CDS dual write is to have a tightly coupled real-time bidirectional integration, long phrase, and master and reference data. So of course, at first you will sync all your master data, and after that, your reference transactional data. It's bidirectional, but you can set up it also on one side. So if you just have to want to push your data from finance operation to your CDS, but not from CDS to finance operation, maybe for certain process or for certain needs, you can. And of course, you can also have in the over CDS only to finance operation, but also on vice versa, and yeah. So as you will see, you have a lot of out-of-the-box entity mapping done by Microsoft. For that, you need to download the solution, but again, it's all documented in my blog. So if you want really to configure and know how to set up it, really suggest to go to my blog. But yeah, it still is very important because they have done a lot of works, Microsoft behind, to help you. And I think in the coming months, they will bring a lot of new entity mapping for field service. I think they have done the field service entity mapping when you have the asset management module of finance operations that can be synced to work order on field service. So yeah, they have done a lot of works, but you can also add your custom entity, as you will see after. You can customize, so it's not a black box. You have your end to do that. And so this is coming from Microsoft, and this screenshot, it was not by me. And yeah, I say, yeah, it's quite simple. At the end, I think for me, the configuration, it's not very, very easy. But after, when it's configured, yeah, the step to do the mapping, etc., you will see that it's really simple. And you can have filter and transform your data. For that, it's very important because, of course, the architecture that I said from finance operation, like in CDS, you have a field that called currency. In CDS, you have coming from the CRM, this kind of thing. And in finance operations, the currency have a certain process, some certain metadata. This is not the same as the CRM. So for somehow, for some certain sync, bidirectional sync, you have to transform your data because it's not the same field type exactly. And maybe you want to just filter. Of course, you will see that the dual write, we can already enable it for just one legal entity, but also for multiple legal entities. You just have to select when you configure what is the legal entity that you want to sync. So as I said, you have the extensible, you have it's synchronous. I think this is really important because of course, where someone, the user, modify a contact in CRM, you want to have already the contact synced in near real time. So Microsoft said near real time. So it's not real time, it's not asynchronous, but it's quite, I think, in 1 or 2 seconds. So I didn't try, maybe I will check and know after the session. I want to have a crash test to try to modify a contact in CRM and finance operation at the same time, just to see how it's handled, like with a lock behind, I don't know. But yeah, maybe I have to talk about that with Microsoft product team, but still, I didn't try to do a crash test for that, for the synchronous part. So yeah, you have already, you will see you have all error log. You have, you can set up alert settings. So you can know if there are some errors between the data entities from FinOps to your CDS entity. So yeah, custom alerts, thresholds, subscribe to notification. Yeah. So really helpful. Yeah. So this is a list, a certain list coming from Microsoft, but it's not the whole picture. You have a lot more process that you can do with CDS dual write in standard. So this is a standard mapping that Microsoft push you without anything. You just have to configure and install it. And as I said, you can do many more because you can extend it as you want. Of course, your custom data entities, your custom field. So you can grab the solution coming from Microsoft and just after edit the flow mapping between finance operation and CDS, and also add your custom fields. Because for like customer master, if you want to sync your the customer data entities from FinOps to contacts or accounts on CDS, but you have created a lot of new fields on your customer data entities in finance operation, you want also to have these new fields on your CDS. Of course, you can create the new fields, the new custom field on your CDS, and after doing the mapping. So yeah, a lot of process behind. So now, little demonstration on CDS. So how it works. Okay, I have to go there. So the CDS dual write, you have two things. You have the, I just close it with my previous session. But now if you go to your LCS, if you go to, I don't know, like this one, this sandbox instance, I don't know if you have seen, but in few months ago, they already added a new section directly here. So yeah, you can know if this sandbox is well synced with your CDS and in which CDS environment. Because I will talk about that a little bit also. If you don't know really, if you are really expert on finance operation, you don't know at all CDS. Believe me, Raz, you can also told that, but we have a lot of MVP, a lot of content from the community for the CDS. So you have, and they all, Microsoft doing a lot of session at the Microsoft Business Application Summit on CDS. So you can really jump very quickly. If you are coming from finance operation, like me, because finance operation is my main expertise, but I go to Power Platform CDS a lot of now, but really you can train and learn very quickly. It's not the same difficulty as finance operation. So, and in finance, in CDS, sorry, you have like you can have a lot of environment behind your tenant. So you can create a pre-prod UAT. So you can have a link between one instance of finance operation to one environment of CDS, of course. So you can create a UAT pre-prod, so the same as your instance coming from FinOps, and so that it's well, it will be a very, you will not sync your production to a sandbox CDS, you know. So that's it. And when you have done, you can also directly go to your system administration. You go to data management, and you have now a dual write here, the section. Just go before going to CDS dual write, just to show you when it's done. Every time you have a sync between finance operation and the CDS, you will have, you know, in the data management, the same thing as you can already do with import-export. You have all the logs and execution details of the sync. So you can really know if they are, you know, as this one, it was a sync between my finance operation to a CDS. You know, you can see we have already exported three rows. We don't have any errors, but as you maybe know, in data management framework of finance operation, you have all execution log, etc., with the log text. So if you have some errors with CDS dual write for the sync, I really suggest to go to, like we do before, directly to your job history of the data management framework. So if I go to dual write, so as I said, for this environment, I already configure it because I don't want to show you, as I said, how to configure it in 1 hour. So when it's done, you will see that. One particular thing also behind, because I had a question from a friend in a partner in Netherlands. When you refresh, because as I said in my previous session, if you, like me, in LCS, you refresh automatically or manually your production to a new UAT instance, and you don't want, of course, to the CDS configuration dual write, it's not a configuration that is on, you know, it's configured with information on your CDS, not on finance operation. So if you refresh your production to a UAT, you will not be synced. You know, so you can refresh. The configuration will not be loose, and you will not grab your production the sync. Yeah. So because it was a really great question. A great topic, because you don't want to, of course, after refreshing your production to a UAT instance, you don't want to, of course, have the CDS dual write configured to your UAT to a production of CDS. You don't want to lose your link after refresh. So you believe me, it's okay for that. So after you have all entity mapping. So entity mapping, it's here you can see I've already imported, like in my blog, all the standard entity mapping that Microsoft propose to configure. And you can, of course, go there, like this one. Okay. I don't note this one. maybe, I don't know, all product. So behind this interface, it's on the CDS. I will not maybe this one also because it's not. I will show you directly some for my demonstration. I'll already sync all my worker coming from finance operation to the CDS to have all the employees and the worker coming from a finance operation to my CDS. So as you can see, you have all the fields, all the entity mapping. So here you have you can easily transform if you want, as you can see on the sync direction. So you can have the two, as I said, two or CDS to finance or finance operation to CDS or bidirectional. You can have a value mapping. So it's very important because if you don't know really the CDS or the CRM, you have an option set in CDS for the combo box list item. So you need to have a, you know, like here, it's the option set, and here it's the value of finance operation. So when you have employee type on the worker type field, you want to have this value of the option set in CDS. You can have also, you can stop, because this, you can see this one, it's already in a live sync. So every time I change a worker on CDS or in finance operation, it's directly synced. But you can stop at every time you want or pause a mapping if you want, if you have some errors. And you have the activity log. You have the initial sync details if you have some errors. And you can go, so if you go to the task, you can check the error and know what has the error behind. So you really have to have a lot of details about error, about that. So yeah, and of course the first thing to do when you have done the entity mapping, you will have to do the initial sync, because, and when you will do the initial sync, he will ask you, okay, what are your master data? Is there the finance operation? It's your own master data of worker, and you want to go sync the worker data of finance operation to CDS and the finance operation as the main master data, or you want to have, or you can already do in this over sense between CDS and dual write. So when you do this initial sync, he will ask you what is the direction of the sync. Okay, and as I said, you can add a mapping at the end, and you can add your own field, your custom fields that are not in the standard mapping from Microsoft. So really, you can do that. You can delete, of course, if you don't want to sync the field, the entity mapping that have done Microsoft for you. You can delete every field you want and just add your wanted, but they have done a lot of work, so yeah, for that. If I go back also, I can show you, I've done also a quick entity mapping, really a custom entity mapping that has not been there at first. It was just a quick example. I've done, I used one data entities and I want to sync it to a CDS. So as you can see here, it's completely a new one. And you can create a new entity mapping, create a new entity in CDS and sync every field you want. Okay. So really you can sync every data entities in finance operation. So the first step, of course, is if you have done some developments, but I think we had a presentation also just before about data entities. It's really to create data entities, and after you in CDS you create the entities and you create the mapping and you can sync it. Okay. So I can just show you just example. So as you have seen, I have synced this table. So it's a technical table, and it's just one example. But if I create a new record now in this table, no, that's it. Now it's saved. So if I go to my Power App CDS, sorry. So in CDS, I have created a new entity, the same as the data entity in finance operation. Yeah. I have to select all. Test. Well, maybe I think it's at the end. Test. Yeah, that's it. This is my custom CDS entity, like the same as my finance operation. And as you can see, I already have my new record coming from finance operation. And if I want to edit, because I can edit the record, so now it goes directly to my CRM instance. Yeah, maybe I can just select test 2. Very quick example. Okay. So normally, if I go back to my finance operation, we will see test 2. Yeah, test 2. So as you can see, it's already synced between my CRM and my finance operation. And of course, I've had a question also from a customer if it's handles the delete record. Normally, you don't delete record in production, but but still, if you delete a record, if I go to my finance operation, it's deleted also. So it handle, update, create, and delete. Yeah, so really helpful, as you can see, and even like this one, even for custom entity mapping. So now I've got just have a look. Yeah, if I go to now Power Apps portal, I've done also, as I show you before, if I go back to my data management, going back to dual write, so I have already synced, as I said before, the worker data entities of my finance operation. Okay, so it's here now, worker. So now if I go to my worker, human resources, worker, and if I want to update one worker like me, I don't know if I can change the I can change the birth date. Huh? Here, yeah, I can put 2000. Allez. Okay, 20 years old. Yeah. Okay, so now it's saved, I think. Yeah. So if I go to my Power Apps portal, because I can go there in the home page. So here I have just created in Power Apps portal. I will just show you after, of course. But in Power Apps portal, you can have a preview private and public portals with a WYSIWYG editor, and you can really show data coming from the CDS very quickly. So my goal was really to if you want to handle, you can handle the connection, the authentication here. So if you want to have a private enterprise portal and you want to show data for your partner, like if you have some partners that want to have, you know, a global portal with all their invoice, all their purchase orders, they want to download the invoice, the PDF of the invoice. If you want to handle also customer service with return orders, if you do some retails, you can really have a public or private portal with authentication, and you can handle the authentication to know what is the customer behind the authentication. And you can, of course, filter data coming from the CDS to the Power Apps portal that it will just show, of course, see their data, their own data. and not the whole data. And when you can create a page like me, I've done a very quick page. Huh? I'm not a big expert on Power Apps Portal, but I just created a quick list view. And as you can see, it's already, so here I am on my Power Apps Portal, and I can see exactly the same data as my finance operation data. So I think, yeah, for the Power Apps Portal, in fact, I think the licensing is 500 euros per portal. So it's the cost of the license. It's not really, expensive. So really, if you want to create a very quick website directly connected to your finance operation, if you choose to use CDS DualWrite, you can really create a quick portal. And of course, it's a web portal, so you can customize with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, of course. But for the if I want to show you how it works very quickly on my Power Apps portal, where it is here, yeah, portal. You can of course do a trial if you want to try on Power Apps portal. So you will see that you are on the editor of Power Apps portal. Here you can have all your pages, like me, the worker that I created, a new page. And in your page, you can add here a component, and the component, it's a list. And the list is coming from my CDS entity that is synced with my CDS DualWrite, and you can select view. Of course, it's the basic view with all the fields, but you can, of course, in the CDS, create a custom view with all just fields you want and with a filter that you want. And you can, of course, use also the Power Apps portal like the creation to create new records or view details or even edit record. So if you want that a user, you don't want to buy a license for finance operation, you just give the access to a user to the Power Apps portal. It can handle, I don't know, expenses, handle certain master data, invoice, etc. You can just edit and give the access to this user just only to the Power Apps portal. And of course, after it will be synced directly to the finance operation without any license of finance operation. And yeah, believe me, the cost of the license, it's really less cheaper than for Power Apps portal than the finance operation. So you don't want to put every worker or employees to finance operation. And I think for me, the interface is more easier. So yeah, you can really do a lot of use case behind the Power Apps portal. On my side, I also do certain Power Apps Canvas application of Power Apps, like this one. I created a Power Apps for inventory for directly connected to my CDS, but the CDS data is coming from my finance operation with the DualWrite. So you can have, of course, before I have a question about this, I don't sync every transactional of stock for the inventory. I just sync one custom data entity that have an aggregation on, with custom calculation fields. So I don't want to sync every transactional data inventory transaction to my CDS. It will take a lot of database log, and so yeah, you can really, if you want to CDS DualWrite to do quick Power Apps application, just sync aggregated information when you calculate this information directly in your data entities of finance operation. So here I can have this is my main expertise now. I really want to push the community for finance operation to go to the Power Platform, because you can do like the CRM community. They have done now a lot of Power Apps because the Power Platform were at first really for the CRM. But now, yeah, with the ERP, with the CDS URL, you can really create quickly new Power Apps application and give access only to a Power Apps to a user and not to finance operation. So if you have an assistant that are on a warehouse and you want to just give access to this user just to a quick Power Apps mobile application to scan barcode, to scan information, picking list, registration list of product that you want to have the warehouse module with transfer order. You just can create a new quick Power Apps. It doesn't have to go to finance operation, even if we have a responsive design in finance operation to go to mobile. Power Apps is really great for that. So we suggest to start to build your own apps for the ERP. So here, as you can see, I just on my side for this demonstration, I just built a new application. I done it in 5 minutes, so it's not a sexy application, yeah, but still it works very great. But as you can see, my worker, it shows every worker of the CDS here. And if I want to have, like me, as you can see, I can go directly to my worker. So here I am on the CDS, not on finance operation. But if I want to change the name to handle master data, because I don't know if you have maybe had the same problem or process as me, but some customer handle master data, like customer, vendors, workers, manually, or maybe with a little process because somehow they want to create an Excel file, create a service desk, a Jira service desk, or create a support desk to ask someone to the IT team to create manually in production the customer data. So yeah, it can take a lot of time, but with the Power Platform, you can build very quickly a Power Apps when I don't know, when a sales manager wants to create a new vendor or new customer. You push this application to this user. He can, of course, Power Apps application, he can push every field, every data he wants, and after he can click on update or create on the Power Apps Canvas application, like me, and after on every button event on Power Apps, you can handle that after with a Power Automate flow to have an approval. So now I think if I go there, I think I have created a flow for that. It's called Master Data Approval, okay? And for that, I just it's launch coming from the button of my Power Apps application. I ask by Teams directly if my manager is okay with this, with the master data update. So directly here, as you can see, I already received a flow with the worker approval master data. So yeah, as the previous session of business event for Power Automate Flow with Workflow, you can really handle also to send notification not by mail but by Teams, because as I said, you have a lot of connectors now in Power Platform, and you can really notify, ask approval not only by email. I don't like email, so you can just push automatically with a Flow bot an approval to the user. I doesn't use adaptive card for that, but you can do custom information here, and you can click on approve, submit. He's okay with the change on the master data of the worker, and now my flow will continue after that to update my CDS record. Since I already think also CDS go to my finance operation of the worker. Now, of course, on my CDS, my record is updated on the CDS, but since I already configure also the CDS to finance operation, if I go back to my finance operation, okay, normally I will have, yeah, Aurélien 2. So it's well synced after, it's well synced to finance operation, but after approval. So really the Power Apps can really handle also like an intermediate, you know, intermediate with a flow that that can be the first step before creating customer data, master data in your finance operation. And really you can create a lot of new application with that. So, and now we can push your Power Apps application directly to Teams also. So yeah, we have a lot of new features that are coming this year. So really, really great for that. If I have to go somehow, yeah, I can show you something also about this. No, I will go. I don't know if you have seen this from before, but I really suggest also the community to go directly to Yammer. Yammer, they have a Yammer for Dynamics AX feedbacks programs. Maybe I will send you the link in the conversation after, but you have here you can see you have a group behind the dual write, a group behind the regression suite automation tool, a group for updates application. You have also the, I don't know if you know this preview early access program, so that customer or you even partner can have in access preview access directly to the new update before it will be go live and push it to everyone. So really you have a lot of community. You can see 1,000, more than 1,000 members behind with, of course, the product team. So it's really a good place to be for finance operation, because as you will see, you have a lot of questions behind dual write. So yeah, I think maybe I can. I will just have a look if I have something to show after link environment. No. So yeah, maybe for this session, I think I have more times to answer question. No, sorry. last step, sorry. An important step. So if I go to my PowerPoint, of course, I've done, as you maybe have a question, what is the difference between Power Apps and Power Apps Portal? Of course, the Power Apps is more for Canvas application, desktop or mobile. Portals is for web browsing. You have no anonymous access for Power Apps, but for Power Apps Portal, you can have anonymous access. So that's why sometimes it's better to go to portals for that. And you can have, as I said, a custom authentication with Azure B2C, Azure Active Directory B2C, with a lot of providers behind, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google. I think the 365 portal is like this one. And yeah, you can build really quickly your portal as I show you. And one more thing, and it's coming from a new feature. It's because at the Microsoft Business Application Summit, so a few weeks ago now, 20 days ago, Microsoft has said that maybe, it's not maybe, it's coming, they will add the ability to sync directly without CDS dual write your data entities from finance operation to your CDS, but with virtual entity. So it will not require to configure that I show you the CDS dual write, etc. You will just have to, I don't know how it will work, of course, it's still in preview, but my main goal for you is really to be careful of which tool I will have to use. I had some question. It's a good way to go to CDS dual write because we will have this new feature without this configuration. But virtual entities, I just have a look, and you have a lot of limitation behind virtual entities in CDS. Like, I think The major one, it's, I think, the CDS virtual entity is on read-only state only. So, and when I ask the product team of Behind why, which tool we have to use, he answer, okay, it depends on your scenarios Behind. So for some use case, you will use CDS dual write. From some quick use case where you want just to have like a mirror of your data entities in CDS with a virtual entity, you can choose this kind of architecture. So you will have the choice, in fact. So you have I think here if you want to go, you can check virtual entities limitation. You have a link to know what is the limitation behind. And yeah, you have a lot of limitation, I think, on virtual entities. So be careful of that. But it's really great because as I will show you also to finish, it's coming, I think, for a new feature. This kind of thing is coming because now, I don't know if you know, but you can have a data lake behind finance operation. And when you configure a data lake with finance operation, you can have a containers behind like this. You can have your aggregate measurement. This is the entity store, the data warehouse, but now you have also the entities and tables. It's still in preview, in public preview. But now we will have the ability to not use the bring your own database stuff to sync to SQL Azure database. You can directly push your data entities directly to the data lake. So I think somehow the CDS dual write, the CDS virtual entities will be just a mirror of this data lake to see, because it will be synchronous sync for that, and you will have and behind it will be a CSV file in the data lake. So yeah, I think I have almost, I think I have finished, Raz, but I don't know if you have a lot of questions for this session.
Hello there, Aurélien. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, by the way, Aurélien?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Yes. So again, there's lots of so in terms of questions, let's have a look. Can we? Okay. So let's just. So people asking about that Yammer group. We'll post the Yammer group. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are interested in that Yammer group. Thanks for sharing that one. People asking. Asking about the Dynamics FinOps phone. Okay. On the phone or tablet has time and expense approvals to replace the old SharePoint portal, but I'm looking forward to see what you did on the Power App. So basically, he's looking for a solution via Power Apps that was able to provide expense approvals. Can you share anything with him related to?
Yes. So for that, I've got even better than that. I've done an article with AI Builder for expense management. So with that, I can handle, text recognition of the expense. And after I've done so you can read my article on my blog. It explains everything. So with Power Automate, I call a AI Builder. So with AI Builder, we have the ability to add this kind of thing, text recognition of your image. So you can have a worker that can scan directly their expense. You can set up after the fields you want to sync it after to your finance operation. And behind, you can also do, like me, an approval. So you can create your expense with Power Automate, and you can ask the manager of this worker if he's okay with the expense and approve or not the expense, and even after upload the expense to a SharePoint, if you want to have all the expense directly to a repository like SharePoint. And maybe after also send a mobile notification to say your expense has been rejected by your manager, the comments that the manager has push directly to the teams, to the Power Automate flow. And really, you can, after, when it's done, this kind of thing, you can just share your Power Automate flow with AI Builder to end user in read-only only. He can download the application on their mobile, just authenticate. And after, as you can see, he can input, take a picture, sorry, take a picture of the expense, and after he will call the flow, and you will have the expense approval to the manager, and after the user will have has been approved. So yeah, and of course, if you don't want to go to AI Builder, you can of course just quickly build a Power Automate flow that you share to your end user with all necessary fields you want. Like the transactional amount, the transactional date, if it's a restaurant, a hotel. Now we didn't spend a lot of time in troubles, but yeah, if you have a project, if you want to handle a project expense for a certain project in finance operation, so you can add a lot of inputs in the Power Automate that the user will have to push. And after you can, in Power Automate, of course, ask the manager of this worker if he's okay or not, and after create all necessary information with Power Automate.
So Zahir is saying thank you so much. He's saying that looks really awesome. He definitely wants to check out your blog, but that's exactly what he wanted. Now Jags is asking the question. The new features of the F&O tables and entities for the Azure Data Lake Data Factory will allow to push the F&O tables. Will it allow for you to push the F&O tables, including transaction tables, to the Azure Data Factory?
Exactly. Maybe I can show it. Don't know if I. This one. I will just have to switch to English. Sorry. Yeah. So it's not right now really in public preview, but it will come very quickly for this summer, for August, September. So you can send it. You have the ability to like this tables. So it's part from the release wave for the release wave 2020, the wave 1. So as you can see in the release wave of this year for finance operation, you have of course the data in the common data service. So really Microsoft this year is really going step by step. So first CDS worldwide, after CDS with virtual entities, after all your data entities and table in your data lake. So yeah, as you can see, it's step by step. But I think at the end of the year, you will have all necessary table. It's as you can see, table. It's even table will be much faster June in public preview. It will replace completely the bring your own database that I already show. It will also help you, I think, for the upgrade of AX 2012 and 9. And it will help after you will have also the data entities, but the data entities is much on August, not June, but yeah.
Right. So Kirathika is asking how to access non-public entities of Dynamics F&O in CDS using OData. Any solution? If entity is not set to public, it is not available in CDS. Is there any solutions for this?
No, not at this time. No.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So the final question, I believe, it's any recommendation for Power Apps to facilitate customer payments, i.e., a customer invoice portal?
I don't have. I think customer invoice. You mean you want to show the invoice of your customer directly on a portal, or you want? No, the payment. Sorry. Okay, the payment. No, I don't have any best practice for that yet. But I really suggest you to go for the Power Apps portal for that. Yeah, to handle payments if you want.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
It's a good
ideas with that. Yeah.
It's a good use case. Yeah, if you have a Power Apps portal and you want your customer to handle and pay directly to portals and sync after automatically the data in finance operation, yeah, you can But yeah, I'm not a real big expert on Power Apps Portal, but you have a lot of contents coming from the community on Power Apps Portal. You have, I think, on over 365 Saturday, you have you have sessions.
I mean, look,
You have a lot
we
of
are
sessions.
the portal's masters, aren't we? So so we're running
Yeah.
the entire community on a Power Apps portal, guys.
Yeah.
So everything that we're doing on the community, it's all using Power Apps portals. Everything is powered by the Power Platform. So in short, to answer your question, can you facilitate customer payments? One thing just to answer that before we move on to the next session is well, it depends on how you're rendering the customer payment. If the payment is stored in a CDS record, i.e. the tables are synced directly from FinOps into CDS, and the data is simply stored as records, then yes, 100% you can show that. If you're expecting to render the data in a different format, such as PDF files and things like that, you can do it, but it's a bit more tricky. But you can potentially allow, for example, via portal, show the customer's payment details and also allow them to download a PDF, which will provide a complete transaction. One thing to mention though is that with CE, with CDS, one thing you have to be wary of, guys, just before we finish, is that the data type that you cannot store inside of CDS. I can't speak for FinOps, but for the CDS, for Power Apps, you cannot store payment details, as in actual credit card details. The Dynamics 365 CE definitely does support it. I can't speak on behalf of FinOps. Aurélien, do you know if that's possible or not for FinOps? If you can you store actual card transaction details?
Yeah, I think, but yeah, be careful also on European law with GDPR with information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern about the CDS when storing certain transactional information, such as payments, is that you can definitely store the payment and invoice, but you can't store actual bank details. Yeah. So that's one final thing. But yes. So thanks again, everyone. Thanks again, obviously, Aurélien, for your awesome sessions, back-to-back sessions. They're always a big treat. Everyone loves your sessions.
Thank you.
Thanks again for that. It was definitely a really good experience for everyone. We all enjoyed it. And please follow Aurélien